Hey, what's up guys? Zach here. We had a different video set up, but we woke up this morning and it was snowing out, so kind of canceled that. But we've always got a backup, so today, right here, right now, I'm going to show you guys how to service your transmission in your E46, in this case, in my 325. And we're going to do it all for about 20 bucks. Check this out. Alright, just so you guys know that we're actually using high quality parts here. And for those of you just looking on the video to figure out how this all works, the big reason it works is because of FCP Euro. If you guys don't know, FCPEuro.com is literally one of the only individual parts companies left out there for us European guys. With that said, the guys at FCP are absolutely awesome. So one of the big things that they've done is they guarantee their parts for life. So what that means is you buy a set of shocks and a couple years later or whatever they go bad for whatever reason, you send them in, they're going to send you out a new set. It's fantastic. The crazy thing about FCP Euro is everything they sell is warranty for life. Everything, right? Wiper blades, oil changes, transmission filters. So that's right. So the reason we're able to do this service so inexpensively and still get some very high quality parts in the car is thanks to FCP Euro. So this is Meisterzat's transmission filter service kit, and one of the cool things that this kit comes with, that if you buy the part maybe locally at your parts store, they're definitely not going to have this option, is this is like a factory rubber metal gasket set with relief rubber on the sides there. So if you go to your local parts store, you may get a similar looking transmission filter, but the gasket that you're going to give you is just kind of like this all rubber, kind of hard to hold in place and make sure it doesn't leak piece. So this kit is awesome. In addition, this kit comes with all new hardware as well. So if you drop one bolt, you're not going to have to start freaking out that your transmission's going to leak after you do this. The second part of this is heading over to Walmart. So luckily with this 325, and I'll try to post in the description below a lot of other cars that use similar GM transmissions. So hate to break it to some of you guys watching this, but a lot of BMWs actually use GM transmissions. Now this transmission I think was made in Strasbourg, so it's a French transmission, but regardless, it's a GM transmission. Now the good thing of that is that it uses just regular Dex transmission fluid. So if you look on the back here, maybe I can show you guys, you can actually see that it meets all the specifications for these different manufacturers. And you can see up in the right hand corner here, it listed out for BMW as well. Now, we've got the transmission filter. It's going to be sent back under warranty, so that's going to be free. And then, like I said, we went to Walmart and we picked up the Valvoline Max Life Atf. Now, again, if you look around and you guys find it cheaper, you let me know, because there's one reason that this car has almost 300,000 miles on the stock engine, transmission, transfer case, differential, things like that, is because I'm able to service it. And when you tell people that you can service your BMW transmission correctly for about 20 bucks, they think you're crazy. But at Walmart, you're going to pick up a jug of this, which is, it's a gallon, it's 3.8 liters, for $17 and change. So I'll try to post the receipt there. I got two because I think it goes over. We're probably going to use maybe a quart or two out of this one. So I'll adjust the price on the thumbnail after I finish it. But essentially, you're doing a transmission service for just the cost. Now, some of you guys, maybe you've got a transmission that's got like, I don't know, 150, 200,000 miles on it, and you have no documentation that it's ever been changed before. If it's shifting bad now, you're going to throw some fluid in it. It might, I don't know, free up a solenoid or whatnot. But generally, if it's churned up that fluid for so long, there's a whole bunch of new detergents in here, not unlike what you use to wash your hand or your clothes or whatnot, in the respect that it's going to clean out your valve body and the internals of the transmission. It's going to release a lot of that gunk. So some horror stories that you've heard of people changing their transmission fluid and filter is on a transmission that's never been opened, never been touched before. And the new fluid is going to release all kinds of junk into that that transmission filter. And even on a brand new filter, you run the risk that this thing's gonna get clogged up, starve the transmission, and then it dies, and then people say, I changed my fluid and it killed the transmission. So there's a little bit of truth to that, but my thought is, if the transmission's gonna die, it's gonna die, regardless of what you do. So you might as well get ahead of the curve as soon as you can, and keep that transmission in the car. It's a heck of a lot easier than dropping a transmission. So right now, let's jump under the car, take care of this. All right, so luckily to replace the fluid and the filter in this, all you're gonna need is just a couple of tools. One is gonna be, it's probably a T45, but again, this car is old, rusted out. It's a T47 Torx for me on mine. And then I've just got my impact driver here with a 10mm for all the nuts around the pan. So now we're gonna go drain the fluid out. I'm gonna use a catch can here, and then what I like to do after is I'll just measure how much fluid came out. So that way when you go to put new fluid in, if for some reason you go through both jugs and you think it still needs more, you'll know that you've overfilled it. So pretty simple, but now let's get under the car and start draining out that fluid. All right, so we've given the fluid just a little time to cool down here. Not much though. You really want this to be pretty warm so it fully drains out. But then again, when this thing's fully up to temp, you kind of run the risk of getting splashed with hot oil here, which is never fun. I don't know if I can get you guys a good shot here, but even though I service the transmission pretty regularly, you can still tell that the fluid coming out, it's, you know, dark in color. It's not this kind of clear candy red of the new fluid. So it definitely shows you should really keep up on the maintenance. Not terrible looking, but definitely more brown than red. Alright, so now we still have one screw on the front side of the pan here. I've put the drain plug back in just for this. Hopefully pry this pan off pretty easily. Don't use any type of screwdriver or anything like that between the pan and the gasket, because you can really mess up the surface where the pan meets, and then you ultimately have a leak there. So try to avoid that if you can. Alright, so we're just going to let this finish draining out here, and then we're going to drop the pan down, take out the filter. Alright, and then before we get out from underneath here for a little bit, literally just going to grab the front of this filter and pull it straight down. And you got more fluid coming out from the filter pickup there. Alright, not so bad so far, right? A couple 10mm bolts, and then the one drain bolt in the center there. And you guys can see here, I'll give you a close-up, just why I decided to put that drain bolt back in is because you still got a pretty good amount of fluid in here that just doesn't drain out. Alright, so one thing I want to point out real quick is just this magnet that's attached to the bottom of the pan here. So if you can see here on top of the magnet, you can see those ridges. So that's actually not part of the magnet if you've never done a transmission service before. So if I wipe across here with my finger, you can feel that that's actually bits of metal and things like that. So that's just from normal wear and tear. Now if you came in here to look at that and you saw some pretty serious chunks or whatnot, yeah, then you can be concerned. But as for this, again, it's just pieces of the clutch packs or whatever inside the transmission that are just kind of designed to wear out over time. This magnet's job is just going to be there in the bottom of the pan to catch it, to make sure it doesn't go back through. Wipe all that metal off. There you go. Alright, so you shouldn't need any special tools to get this old gasket off. I can't even tell you how many years it's been. Haven't really driven the wagon too much to put the mileage on it, but that one came off pretty easily. And now we're just going to get some brake clean, spray out this pan, wipe it down really good, make sure that the surface of the pan isn't rusted or scratched or something like that. That would keep this new gasket from sealing correctly. Now I'm just going to hit the tranny pan with a little bit of brake clean here. All right, so there's just a quick wipe down and some brake clean on that. So this thing's ready to go. Yeah, you've got a little bit of space here where the paint's chipped off, but it actually doesn't meet where the gasket is. It's still on the outside of that. So that'll be all right. Probably good for another 200,000 miles, I'd say. So luckily when we took out our old filter, these O-rings were still attached to the filter itself. More often than not, these are gonna stay stuck inside the transmission. And guys, when you go to take these out, you should take them out. You should replace them. They turn from like a rubber to like a real brittle plastic, so they really should be replaced, because that's your seal that allows your transmission to suck fluid from the oil pan, or from the oil pan of the transmission. But when you go to remove these, don't use a pick. So if you reach up there with a pick and try to force it out, you could scratch the bore of that pickup tube in your transmission. You can have some oil issues and things like that down the line. Just not good stuff happens. So get yourself like a rigid piece of plastic you can put up there, and it's just constant steady pressure. When you go to put the new filter in, just take a little bit of, my hands are covered in oil now, but just take a little transmission oil, transmission fluid, and lubricate those O-rings on that new filter before you put it in, and it'll make sure that this goes in a heck of a lot easier. So again, this is the orientation where the front of the car is here. So I'm just going to gently push that in there. This is going to be more than enough to keep the filter in there. And then we've got the oil pan. The oil pan is ready. Got the new gasket ready to go in. Going to get the new O-ring on the pan, get the new filter in, start throwing some bolts in there. Then we just got to top it off and bring the car up to temp. So let's get to work. All right, looks like my other style pump is not going to fit. So I'm going to have to go to that traditional auto parts store, hand pump style here. Which will actually probably end up being faster anyway. And we're just pumping this in slow and steady. Doesn't have to go in high pressure. Exciting, isn't it? All right, so the next thing we need to do is, since we've now got fluid dripping out of the fill plug of the transmission, we're actually going to go ahead and start the car. But you can see the transmission oil temp's 42 degrees. So let's start it, run it through the gears, top it off, we'll be good to go. So I'm going to shift down into drive, over to sport, go into manual 1, for about 3, 4, 5 seconds, manual 2. So what we're trying to do is we're just trying to suck up all that transmission fluid into these different solenoids and galleyways, the passages inside the transmission. I'm going to run around the car quickly and make sure that it's fully filled up here. Alright guys, so that's it. That's how you service your transmission for $25. Like I said before, we used about, I thought it'd be about 4 quarts or so. We ended up using about 6. Spilled a little bit, but we're going to call it 6. So that works out to be $25 worth of Valvoline ATF. So between that and mailing back my old filter that had got from FCP Euro, 25 bucks to service your transmission. Keep it going, keep it on the road. One question I got for you guys, you can post in the comments below. I want to see who has the highest mileage E46 out there. Even if it's an M3 or manual transmission, doesn't have to be an automatic. I'm just curious what you guys have out there for E46s and mileage. But like I said, check them out if you haven't done so already. FCP Euro, this is a non-sponsored video, but if you guys, I mean, anybody that's ever dealt with them before knows what I'm talking about. They take really good care of us. It's up to us to help take care of them too. And guys, it's a lifetime warranty on everything you buy from them. So you'll never have to buy anything again that you bought through them already. So like I said, Hit out there, 25 bucks, service your transmission, post in the comments below, subscribe. We're looking to get to 100,000 subscribers. Can't do it without you guys. Until next time, see you guys.